Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from Spa Catholic High School. Brett Porter on the horn, Eric Picar, our production manager. Not going to be starting quite at 7 p.m. Still waiting on a couple of things. As soon as you hear my voice again, that means your Saratoga Racers Herkimer Originals game from Spa Catholic High School will take place. Until then, watch the Originals get some practice in. We'll talk soon. All right, we are officially underway at Spa Catholic High School. Your Saratoga Racers taking down the visiting Herkimer Originals in the regular season so far. Saratoga and Herkimer have already met twice. Saratoga taking the loss at home. Herkimer taking their loss at home. History repeats itself. It does not look good for Toga, but still 48 minutes of basketball between then and there. So the Herkimer Original starting lineup this contest. We have number 32, Luke Van Slyke. Number 15, Trent Adamson. Number 3, Terrence Nichols. Number 22, Josh Ernst. Number 35, Caden Adamson. Last time we were here, so Bob Catherwood and company managing to defeat the Royal Ballers of Rochester. Currently sitting at 10-5, if I recall. Still in the top 25 nationwide in the ABA, and that is a league of more than 120 teams. Every game at this point being important to make sure they perhaps clinch a spot in their division come playoff season. Starting lineup so far for the Racers. Of course, number 3, Tobias Holmes. Number 21, John Riles. Number 17, the 6'9" center, Isaiah Grandison. Of course, my favorite name to say on the Saratoga Racers roster, number 24, R.J. Rosa. Kyle Carey, number 44, making a rare appearance at Spa Catholic High School. Perhaps battling some injuries, conflicts of interest, who knows? But Kyle Carey, the 6'7" forward out of Plattsburgh State, my alma mater as well, a couple years younger than me. We're all old men now. The age 28 hits a little rough at times. Still remember when my wife first turned 30. That was a fun household for a couple of days. So as you just tuning in, this is an NYVT media broadcast of your Saratoga Racers, some ABA basketball, as Isaiah Grandison and Trent Adamson to meet in the middle for the tip-off. Chris having some technical difficulties at the score table. Gathered with Keith Harrington having a conversation on the logistics of making sure that the substitution light still works. It doesn't right now. It's all right, guys. We're almost done with the season. There, members of the Herkimer OGs coaching staff trying to fix this light. Maybe if someone wants to use their phone as a flashlight, maybe that would solve the task at hand. In the meantime, still waiting on tip-off until this gets resolved, it appears. I was just told earlier today by Coach Bob Catherwood, he tuned into a broadcast until I had referenced his mustache and how it was very Tom Selleck adjacent. And at that point, he, quote unquote, turned off the cable. Bold of him to assume we made it to cable. One day. That day's not today. What you guys can't see off camera is John Riles chumming it up with Tim Happen, one of the officials. Still trying to come up with solutions for this light. John Riles suggesting to just hit it. As I said, I think maybe doing like a strobe from the cell phone, like maybe a flashlight from your phone. Maybe yell. And it looks like we've got past the first hurdle. Now, tip-off, just a mere moment away. Grandison Adamson Saratoga and Herkimer. And on that, Grandison winning the tip up. That's going to go right to Tobias Holmes. Holmes finds an open John Riles right off the rip. And that three off the rip, no good. Grandison recovering the rebound, but that's no good either. As Vince Slyke. So we're going to have a quick stoppage because the clock didn't ever subtract any time. So while they tried to subtract 12 seconds, while we were waiting for the score, for the scorekeeping staff to subtract 10 seconds from the game clock, once again, waiting on that runoff. Take a quick second to say, if you're just tuning in, this is Brett Porter with MIVT Media. This is a Saratoga Racers broadcast, and we were able to subtract 10 seconds off the clock. That's a good game. It's only going to get better. Still 0-0 Saratoga Herkimer. As Terrence Nichols to inbound it for the Herkimer OGs. So Herkimer actually just recently got confirmation that the sport of basketball did in fact originate in Herkimer, New York. When everyone thought it was in the state of Mass, the Nichols got Tobias Holmes and RJ Rosa on his back, finding an open Adamson, tried getting it back, but Tobias Holmes getting some skin in that game. And Trent Adamson blocks the three-point shot, gets right up in his grill and says, I'm a grown man. I can do that. RJ Rosa to inbound it. Finding Riles back to Rosa. RJ Rosa shots up, and that's good. Good for three. Saratoga draws first blood. RJ Rosa on the three. Nichols getting a quick pass back from Van Slyke. Excuse me, Caden Adamson. I misspoke. Nichols to inbound. That's Van Slyke. Finding Adamson. Adamson back to Adamson. Trent Adamson. Finding an open Nichols. And Tobias Holmes with a block of his own. And that's gonna get intercepted pretty quick. Trent Adamson. And Tobias Holmes is gonna get called on that foul. We're going to keep a little dirty secret between you and I. Tobias Holmes wearing jersey number 3, wearing shorts number 20. Everyone forgets laundry day sometimes, and that's totally okay. As Josh Ernst pushing it back to Nichols. And Trent Adamson tried to, just couldn't get enough of it. That's going to be Saratoga ball. As Tobias Holmes giving it off to Rosa. Rosa back to Holmes. Looked like he was going to go for a shot. Dishing it back. And RJ Rosa is pleading with the officials that Herkimer got a piece of that, and they're going to award that. Oh, John Riles shot, just little too much mustard behind that. Riles trying to pick it off, and he does. March it up into the paint, and that's good for 2. Swishing or dishing, and that's good for a 3-point play. Trent Adamson, ball's out of bounds. And it looks like they're going to say that's off on Trent Adamson. Grandison dishing it off to Tobias Holmes. Holmes to Riles, quick and up in the middle. And RJ Rosa smacking it back in off the rebound. That's an 8-0 run with 10 minutes to go in the first. And Josh Ernst is going to get called on that travel. Oh, already got some words going. Already got some heated words between Saratoga and Herkimer. Tobias Holmes getting up in the grill, Trent Adamson, and vice versa. Already got some bad one. Donovan Williams from the bench talking some smack, let him know we ain't home. We ain't home. John Riles very casually walking back to his team. They've been trying maybe trying to pull some heads here, which if you're Saratoga, you just went on an 8-inning run less than 2 minutes in. Maybe not what you want to do when you have momentum like that in your favor. But the time will tell. It currently stands 8-0 Saratoga. And it seems like everyone's calmed down a little bit. Everyone's trying to keep the peace here, Coach Catherwood. You forget how tall he is until you stand next to him. And I myself am 6'3.5", and I have to look up to him. Seeing him stare down at the refs has to be an intimidating presence. Tobias Holmes telling the Herkimer bench, y'all ain't even tough. Like I said, from an entertainment position, I'd love to see it, but from the pure sport of basketball, it's not kosher. So that mind, RJ Rosa, that's inbounded by Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes driving up into the paint, and that's good. Calls the foul, and that's an opportunity to make that three-point play. Oh, that shot's up and no good. And that's rebounded by Trent Adamson. And Tobias Holmes getting up in there, float that in. That's a 12-0 run for the Saratoga Racers. 9:44 to go in the first quarter. Chris Gilks dishing it off to Terrence Nichols. Nichols back to Gilks. Holmes keeping distance as Luke Van Slyke trying to get something no good. As Tobias Holmes once again just getting in the middle of it. As RJ Rosa is up, and that's good. That's good for three. RJ Rosa once again staggering another three. It is 16-0. Saratoga Racers media timeout being taken. We'll take a quick sec to thank a couple of our sponsors as we have an electrifying start to this home game at Spa Catholic High School. Without our sponsors, none of this would be possible. We have to thank a bunch, including Adirondack Orthodontics. We're much past the dentist's favorite time of the day, 2:30. Boo, boo, Brett, boo. But Adirondack Orthodontics for all of your needs with the most important bones in your body, your teeth. BBL Hospitality. Your Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership of Clifton Park. And last but not least, DeAndrea's Pizza, the official pizza of Saratoga Racers Concessions. Get yourself a slice if you're here. Pretty sure Keith Harrington and I both reading the same DeAndrea's Pizza ad at the same exact time. Love Keith. All right. OG's ball. It's off to Javon Evans. Evans back to Gilks. Back to Adamson. Giving it back. Back to Gilks. We're called no basket. Don't know what the call is on that. As RJ Rosa's up again. And that three dings off the front of the iron. As John Riles gets in on the action. That's good for another 3 points from number 21, John Riles, part of the backbone of this Saratoga Racers team. As Evans goes up, and Luke Van Slyke officially ends the 19-0 run for Saratoga Racers. Herkimer finally on the board, the 2 points, 8.5 to go in the first. Tobias Holmes going up, and that's good for three. The Saratoga Racers are just off to an unbelievable start. Evans trying to make the drive, dishing that one off to LaVoy Leggett Sr. And that's going to pull a foul. Leggett. I'm going to go back and forth, bounce between the two, because I never got clarification on how his last name was pronounced. I could see both being correct. But either way, number 7, Got 2 shots at the line. That first one off the back of the iron, off the back of the glass. Drops out of class as it hits the ground. No basket. Second one's up. Second one's good. Grandison inbounding that to RJ Rosa. Rosa going to make a drive up. And they're going to be calling Chris Gilks on a foul there. Looks like it's a reach-in foul. John Riles giving it off to Kyle Carey, the Plattsburgh alum. Back to RJ Rosa, and that's good for 2. RJ Rosa now at double digits this game so far. 24-3, 8 minutes to go. As Leggett Sr. looked like he was going to go for that shot. And that's going to be good for 2, and that's possibility of being a 3-point. Oh. So that is going to be good for 2. And here's the N1. Here's the N1 coming up as we take another media timeout to have a chance to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Franklin Hospitality Group. G&S Printing for all of your custom needs. Greenwich Ford. Without them, Greenwich Ford, Saratoga Racers very well could not be a team. Greenwich Ford, thank you very much for everything you do. KS Squared Construction. And last but not least, the Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club, the official practice location of your Saratoga Racers. So we are 7:52 to go in the game, 24-5, Saratoga. Racers off to a red-hot start. Herkimer Originals managed to get a couple of points on the board, end that drought. But a 19-0 run that Saratoga Racers were able to go on. And this is a Racers roster that is currently without Joey Harden, who is out on a personal matter right now. Now, Lavoy Leggett Sr. to get his shot from the line. Possibility to make this a 3-point play. It's up, and it's off the front of the iron. RJ Rosa on that rebound, finding John Riles. Leggett catching up with Riles. And that ball's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be Herkimer ball. Jeff Sr. once again with the ball. Floats it up. Bumps off shoulder of Kyle Carey, but still gets it in. 2 for 2, 24-7. 7.5 to go. Tobias Holmes breaking out of some defense. Tries to float it up. And hits the left and the right of the rim and goes in. That's good for another 2. 7 to go. Lavoy Leggett from beyond the arc. No good. Isaiah Grandison on the rebound. Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes. And it looks like Saratoga Racers didn't get it to the other side of the court in time. It's Chris Gilks running it up to Van Slyke. And they're gonna get that blocked. Referee's not gonna call anything. John Riles rebounding that. Riles gonna go up for another shot from beyond the arc. Tickles to the right. No good. Carey back to Riles. Misses, but Isaiah Grandison on the rebound. Getting that one in. Van Slyke dishing it off to Gilks. Gilks to Leggett Sr. Off to Adamson. And that's going to be no good. Grandison on the rebound. Quick underhand pass to Tobias Holmes, finding John Riles. Javon Evans on Riles. Oh, behind the back to Kyle Carey. Gives it to Grandison, fakes the handoff. Grandison's going to keep possession. Dishing off to RJ Rosa, and that fadeaway is going to tickle off of the front of the iron. Javon Evans marching up into the paint. Trying to get past the wall that is Isaiah Grandison. Grandison looked like he was preparing to take the charge. Finding an open John Riles off in the distance. And that's good for another two. 30-7 with 5:52 to go in the first. Javon Evans dishing it off to Chris Gilks. Back to Evans. Evans looked like he was going to go for the three, but he doesn't. Now got a John Riles in his face. Dishing it back to a wide open Chris Gilks, and that three is not going to go. Trent Adamson rebounding and making that basket. That's good for another Herkimer too. Tobias Holmes. RJ Russell being covered pretty thoroughly by Lejette Sr. Carey given the screen where that's no good. Isaiah Grandison doing what he does best, attacking those rebounds, trying to bounce it back in, but he's going to get called on that. That's going to be a foul on Chris Gilks. Isaiah Grandison has 2 shots from the line. A 21-point game with five and change to go. Saratoga Racers, like I said, off to a red hot start. Even after a 19-0 run, Saratoga has scored 11 to the Herkimer 9 following. Grandison's first, no good. Looks like they're calling a foul on Trent Adamson for promotion during the free throw shot. Gonna say a lot of confusion amongst the officials tonight is what it's seeming like so far. Thank goodness for Bob Cather. Thank goodness for Bob Cather to explain the rules to these officials. It seems like. So we finally got some clarification on that. That was a line violation on number 15, Trent Adamson, and it was gonna be Herkimer's ball no matter what because Grandison still made the shot. Glad we all put our heads together to figure that one out. So Jet Senior to 99, Marquise Gilbert. Back to Lejette Senior. Senior is going to miss. Doesn't even hit rim. Goes off the glass painfully. Grandison, for a split second, looked like he was going to rattle off a three. John Riles does instead, and that's no good. Shane Sanders now in for the Saratoga Racers. Tobias Holmes to inbound it and finds RJ Rosa all the way on the other side of the arc. And RJ Rosa's 3-point attempt is going to hit hard off the front of the rim as Juwan Evans shot hits off the back of the rim and goes in. Evans looked like he was about to rip the one right out of John Riles' hands. And he's gonna get called for that. He's gonna get called for that hold there. It's gonna be Saratoga ball. Say Grant is taking a breather. We're going to be having Casey Hall coming. Casey Hall, been a part of this team since the first tryouts. Finally kicking that injury bug. Tobias Holmes finding RJ Rosa from the corner, and that's not going to go either. This Trent Adamson gets that rebound, giving it off to Marquise Gilbert, and that's going to be good for another Herkimer too. RJ Rosa. With Tobias Holmes trying to screen 2 people, both taller than him. As Herkimer is going to get a piece of that. Looks like Chris Gilks got a hand in on that. Looks like he was going to go for a 3 of his own. But Marquise Gilbert, good from beyond the arc for Herkimer. 31-16 with 3:48 to go in the first. RJ Rosa giving it to John Riles. From Casey Hall, up in the middle. Casey Hall getting his first point since coming back. Casey Hall, welcome back to Saratoga. That's Javon Evans going off to Gilbert. Off to Chris Gilks. And that shot's so good. Shane Sanders on the rebound, giving it across the court off to Tobias Holmes. And looked like he was about to march up in the middle. But instead dishes it to a wide open RJ Rosa, but that three just does not want to go in. It's the Void Leggett Sr. For a split second, it looked like it was, way past him out of bounds. Gilbert looked like Gilbert from beyond the key was going to go for it. Now Gilbert's going to go for a three, and that's good for another three for Herkimer Originals. Marquise Gilbert, two shots from beyond the arc, 6 points. Tobias Holmes, after the screen from Casey Hall, St. Sanders just can't hold on to it. Now, we're going to be taking another media timeout. And that's another opportunity to thank a few of our sponsors. Without them, Saratoga Racers would not be able to keep doing what we are doing. So thank you. Supporters such as NYBT Media. That's me. That's our producer, Eric. Without us, there's no broadcast. So we'll pat ourselves on the back for that one. PA Medical Supply. Pinnacle Roofing with one of my favorite slogans. Hey, we got you covered. The Shot Spot Shooting Facility. Whether you are trying to shoot your shot from the free throw, from beyond the arc, your mid-range jumper, maybe shoot your shot with that girl in chemistry class. Okay, we can't help you with that one. But the Shot Spot Shooting Facility. Stewart Shops. Do yourself a flavor with many award-winning ice cream flavors. My color commentator, Derek Durkee, was supposed to join us, actually a member of Dirk Acre Farms, one of their milk suppliers. Get back in the action, 2:44 to go in the first. That's Herkimer ball. Chris Gilks inbounding it to Marquise Gilbert. She's getting it just in time. Devon Evans back to Gilbert. Evans once again looked like he was going to go for that three. Finding Chris Gilks. And two hands in the face. Doesn't matter. That's good for another three for Herkimer. Now an 11-point game with 2:18 to go. That was Javon Evans, his first three of the game. There's Luke Perez now getting his first minutes. John Miles dishing off Tobias Holmes. After that screen from Casey Hall, but that's going to be no good. Leggett coming down with the ball. Evans finding Gilbert. Back to Evans from beyond the key, and that one's just not going to skate. And that's out of bounds. That's going to be Saratoga ball. As Grandison inbounding it to Tobias Holmes. Holmes for a split second looked like he was going to go for three, but instead lays it up. Tobias basketball Holmes there. You can hear Herkimer coaching staff kind of losing their collective minds for a split second as Gilbert. Finding Gilks, finding Van Slyke, and RJ Riles. They're going to, after a little bit of a possession battle, they're going to call that Saratoga balls. Luke Perez quickly throwing it into Tobias Holmes. Casey Hall once again doing his best. Wall impersonator is Tobias Holmes. Stabs one in for three. Leggett Sr. immediately throwing it to Marquise Gilbert. Nichols does it off. Leggett Sr. And that's good for two for Herkimer. Leggett Sr. Mid-range, nice little mid-range jumper. Luke Perez. He's got Nichols to beat. He's going to dish it off to Grandison. Jason. Look at that. Say it, Grandison. He took one step back, would have been good for three, but Grandison from beyond the paint is Grandison's going to pick that bad boy off, and he's going to dish it off to Tobias Holmes. And that's good for another two. Tobias Holmes with a slick pass from Grandison. Marquise Gilbert finding options, finds an open Nichols, and they're going to get called on that. It looks like Terrence Nichols. He's going to get, he's going to get two from the free throw line. Looking for clarification on that. That was Tobias Holmes with the contact. So yeah, Terrence Nichols with two from the line. We got 23 seconds to go. 42-24. Make that 42-25. Donovan Williams checking in for Tobias Holmes. Match up now. Casey Hall. Inbound it. Finds Grandison, who finds Luke Perez. Fishing off to Donovan Williams up in the paint. Finding a wide open RJ Riles, but that three's not going to hit. 10 seconds to go in the first. Terrence Nichols finding Van Slyke, who wasn't paying attention. Casey Hall whipping one at Luke Perez, but couldn't get a grip on it with 3 seconds to go. Lejette Senior. Luke Perez was one of the most dazzling fouls of the game so far. Even the official can't help but even the ref can't help but laugh at that one. So Gilbert's going to get it from just from the side under the basket, and Van Slyke's going to rip one off. Here's it before the buzzer, but doesn't matter. 16-point game. Saratoga Racers 42. The Herkimer OGs 26. Once again, Keith Harrington and I in perfect sync. Saratoga Racers with 16-point lead. Once again, a couple cool things about this game. For one, the Herkimer Originals, after a lot of back and forth and speculation of the origin story of the sport we know as basketball, Herkimer, New York, turns out to actually be the original birthplace of the sport, hence the name, the Herkimer Originals. Also, though, both Saratoga Racers and Herkimer OGs, this is their third time playing each other this season. Racers 1-1, Herkimer 1-1. You could consider this a grudge match, and so far there's been no shortage of emotion on the court. What? Saratoga Racers with 16-point lead heading into it, and Coach Catherwood looks like he was going to be sending out Donovan Williams, Luke Perez, Casey Hall, Isaiah Grandison, and John Riles. RJ Rosa gonna take a little napping nap, maybe, as Gilts being double teamed by Perez and Williams. Gilbert was wide open, but didn't rattle off his shot. Now being covered by Perez. Van Slyke being covered by Riles. Gilbert, once again, being double covered. Gilts with the ball. Going for a deep three. That's not even going to make it to the rim as John Riles comes down with that. Now to Grandison. Grandison to Donovan Williams. Once again, finding Grandison. Lejette Senior on Grandison. Williams looked like he was going to go for it. And Donovan Williams is going to draw the foul line. He's going to get two from the free throw line. And that foul is going to be on Marquise Gilbert. So RJ Rosa and Tobias Holmes getting ready to hop back in. Donovan Williams, first shot's up. First shot. Hitting off the front of the iron. John Riles going to take a rest for a second. John Riles, just before this game, called me the best announcer ever. So no matter what, you got that going for me, which is nice. Tom Mitchell, second shot up, second shot good. 17-point game. Just 40 seconds into the second. Gilbert finding Lejette Senior. Back to Gilbert. Chris Giltz got Mitchell in front of him. And that three-point attempt is up and no good from Terrence Nichols. Tobias Holmes finding Williams, finding Casey Hall. RJ Rosa dishing it. Quick bounce pass to Casey Hall. Casey Hall. Quick handoff to Donovan Williams. He floats that one in for two. As Giltz looked like for a split second he was going to go for a shot from beyond the arc. Gilbert dishing it off to Terrence Nichols, but look at RJ Rosa swatting that like a call it overkill. I had a math professor who once said, "You don't swat a fly with a Buick, because The Herkimer Originals will take a quick 30-second timeout. So, to those of you just tuning in, this is an NYBT media broadcast. Your local Saratoga Racers taking on the visiting Herkimer Originals. Coming to you live from Spa Catholic High School in beautiful downtown Saratoga Springs. Race being coached by Big Bob Catherwood, mustache enthusiast, former basketball player, current basketball coach. And so far, it's been in 13 and a half minutes of basketball, 71 points scored. Been an absolute scoring frenzy. At one point, Saratoga Racers had 19 unanswered points before we finally broke the seal. It's now a 19-point game. 19-point game, 10:37 to go in the half. It looks like things are getting back underway. Shaheem Sanders stepping back to the court. RJ Rosen recovering Marquise Gilbert on the inbound. Gilks giving it off to Van Slyke. And Van Slyke is going to find a wide open Terrence Nichols. Terrence Nichols is not going to get it. Shaheem Sanders coming down with a rebound. It's that ball. It's going to be out of bounds. And that's going to be Herkimer balls. Van Slyke in a sea of coverage. And it's going to be a clean block. Van Slyke looked like he was trying to get the foul drawn. It's Tobias Holmes. RJ Rosa from beyond the arc, and he breaks a dry spell after missing about 4 or 5 in a row. RJ Rosa getting back into the rhythm of things. He's now blocking Gilks. That's going to go off the knee of Casey Hall. Gilks going to end up with it again. And Gilks is going to answer with a 3 of his own. Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes being double covered by Leggett and Gilbert. They're going to consider that. They're going to consider that an over and back violation. It's going to be Herkimer ball. Terrence Nichols finding Chris Gilks. Van Slyke putting up a little bit of a screen there. Is Leggett Sr. going to be the one to rattle it off? They're going to rule that out of bounds. That's going to be Saratoga ball. That's Casey Hall. Stripping it into Tobias Holmes. Holmes back to Hall. Finding Grandison. Grandison's going to go for a shot. And that's going to be good. A look. That is good for 3. Today, Grandison making the first 3 I think I've ever seen him make in a Saratoga Racers home game. Normally known for playing in the paint. As Luke Van Slyke answering with 2 of his own. It's Casey Hall dishing it off to Grandison. That shot was no good, and that's Herkimer balls. Chris Gilks finding Marquise Gilbert. Was that up in the plate? And it's going to float that one in for 2. And after a quick correction by the scoreboard operator, 50-33, Saratoga Racers. Tobias Holmes floats one up, and that had some hang time to it, but that's not gonna skate. Chris Gilks going for a 3 of his own. That's rebounded by Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes scanning the court. Less than 10 to go on the shot clock. Is Grandison. That's going to get picked off, and that's going to be Herkimer ball. Leggett Sr. dishing it off to the corner. Off to Nichols. And Trent Nichols. Terrence Nichols, excuse me. That 3 is no good. Tobias Holmes with the ball. And a nice jumper from the free throw line, excuse me, but that's no good. And Casey Hall is gonna take the charge there. That's gonna be Saratoga ball. That charge is gonna go to LaVoy Leggett Sr. Well, we encountered our first media timeout of the quarter. So we take a split second to thank our sponsors, up to and including Hotel Trilogy. The sequel was great. Wait till you end with a trilogy. Adirondack Orthodontics for any of your teeth needs. Smile makes a great first impression. Let Adirondack Orthodontics help you with that. BBL Hospitality. I feel bad. I don't have a fun thing to say yet for BBL Hospitality. Hopefully by the end of the season, I'll have something clever up my sleeve as the media timeout comes to an end. It's going to be Saratoga Racers ball. John Riles to inbound it to Tobias Hall. Bob Gatherer. It's got a lot of energy to it. They're going to be calling. You got to stop it. They're gonna, yeah, they're gonna call. They're gonna call Ricky Bullock, number 2, Ricky Bullock he's like on a hold there. Tobias home. Inbound the pass from RJ Rosa. Almost back to Rosa. Finding Shaheem Sanders. Sanders fading away. And that's gonna miss. Kyle Carey dishing off to RJ Rosa. Tobias Holmes gonna take a shot from beyond the arc. That's no good. Off the iron, off the glass. No good. Kyle Carey dishing off to RJ Rosa. Rosa gonna go for another shot. And that one does not even touch rim. Just didn't quite have enough upon release. Marquise Gilbert inbounding it to Ricky Bullock. Gilks. RJ Rosa going to intercept that. Finds Tobias Holmes in motion. And that's good. That's good for another 2 for Saratoga. As Herkimer is going to call a timeout. Trying to get some clarification here. Part of the Herkimer coaching staff claiming that an official did blow their whistle, and it did sound like that. I will have to admit, it did sound like a whistle was blown. Does it impact gameplay? That is ultimately not my decision. It is my job to fill you in on what's going on, and until I know that, I'm not gonna speak out of pocket. But it looks like the points are gonna stand. So looks so officials clearing up with the scorekeeping staff right now, trying to listen from the nosebleeds. But so it wasn't an invert whistle. So the Racers are going to lose those 2 points. It wasn't an inverted whistle, but it is. Them's the rules. Marquise Gilbert. The end of the timeout. Inbounding that to Bullock. Bullock to Gilks. Riles staring Gilks into the windows of his soul. Van Slyke to Gilbert. A handoff to a pass. It's RJ Rosa. Peanut punches that out. And he's going to go up. Shaheem Sanders coming down with it on the miss. Shaheem Sanders is going to get the 2. And he's got a chance to make this a 3-point play from the free throw line. Shaheem Sanders. Once again, just talk about a tall drink of water. Shaheem Sanders, 6'9" from Morrisville College. And that couldn't ask for a better free throw. That's good. 20-point game with 6:31 to go in the half. This Bullock trying to get past Tobias Holmes. Now, Javon Evans. He dishes it off to Van Slyke, dishing it off to Adamson. Adamson, and that's gonna kiss the glass and go in. Randy Bullock trying to pop that one out of the reach of Tobias Holmes, who dishes it off to RJ Rosa. Passing was too quick. That ball's gonna go out of bounds. Looks like it's gonna be Herkimer ball. It's Gilbert. Inbounded by Van Slyke. It's Marquise Gilbert trying to call a play. And RJ Rosa gonna get some hands on that. And the no-look pass to John Riles, excuse me, and almost out of bounds. And and after stoppage, Carl Wallace, after being plagued by injury, coming back in. And what better way to start Carl Wallace's time? Tobias Holmes sinking in a quick, casual three. Doing the epitome of the cool guy who doesn't look at an explosion in a movie is Van Slyke dishing off to Adamson. Adamson good for another two. 56-37 with 5:15 to go in the half. Tobias Holmes finding Rosa. Finding Wallace. Wallace in the paint. Tobias Holmes. That's going to go up. That's so good, but they're going to call travel on that anyway. It's going to be Herkimer ball. It's Javon Evans giving it to Marquise Gilbert. Gilbert's gonna get past Wallace, get past Rosa. This is good for two. 56-39, 4:48 to go. Tobias Holmes going for a shot from beyond the arc. And he's gonna get curved. It takes a spill there. We're gonna get a shooting foul on that. It's gonna be on number 2, Ricky Bullock. Tobias Holmes is gonna get 3 shots from beyond the line. Well, from the free throw line, excuse me. First one goes in. It's a beauty. Tobias Holmes rocking some pretty sweet pink Nikes, if I say so myself. It's the first one goes in. The second one just hitting the front of the iron. James Sanders and John Riles straight chilling in the back. Tobias Holmes. The first one's good. Third one's good. Javon Evans now. Dishing off to Leggett Sr. And Carl Wallace is going to get called on that shooting foul. It's going to be Lavoy Leggett Sr. with some shots from the line. Leggett Sr.'s first shot, no good. And Senior, second shot, no good. Sanders on the rebound. Now John Riles is gonna get a foul drawn as well. 7 fouls for Herkimer thus far. Now it's going to go get number 32, Luke Van Slyke. John Riles. John Riles is going to get some shots from the line as well. Tobias Holmes playing the deep coverage. First one floats right in. John Riles dribbling. Floats the second one up, and that one's good too. 60-39, Saratoga Racers with 4.5 to go in the half. So Evans dishing it off to Gilbert. Javon Evans, once again, looked like he was going to go for that three, but every time he does, someone's there to jump in his way. But drives up the lane a little bit, and that's good for another Herkimer. Two. Tobias Holmes being covered by Lizette Sr. Bob Catherine having some talks over. Gilbert holding John Riles' jersey. But RJ Rosa dishing it off to Shaheem Sanders. That's good for another two. Gilbert trying to respond. Gilbert's going to dish that one off to Josh Ernst. That's going to be Saratoga ball. It's quick in transition. Shaheem Sanders floating another two up. Herkimer ball. Javon Evans trying to find somebody. That's going to be Nichols. That goes to the hands of Adamson. And Lizette Sr. barely holding on to it. Josh Ernst going to drive up the middle, and that's good for two. Josh Ernst getting some first points of the game. John Riles now. Getting right up in the grill of LaVoy Lizette Sr. And he's going to drive up into the paint. And that's going to get straight picked off. A lot of OGs get some hands on it. Speaking of hands on it, RJ Rosa a little too enthusiastic on the interception attempt there. RJ Rosa getting his first foul of the game. And we're going to be taking another media timeout, which means we have an opportunity to thank some of our sponsors who managed to make this broadcast possible, including your Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership of Clifton Park. DeAndrea's Pizza, the official pizza of Saratoga Racers concession stands. Franklin Hospitality Group. GNS Printing for all of your custom print needs. Greenwich Ford, the premier sponsor of Saratoga Racers basketball. KS Squared Construction. And last but not least, Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club, the official practice location of your Saratoga Racers. So 19-point game right now. Saratoga 64, Herkimer, 21-point game. And that's a little hard right now. Saratoga 64, Herkimer 43. 21-point game, 2:53 to go in the half. Pretty much since Saratoga's 19-0 run, that's been more the same of the point spread. So far, at least. Once again, to those who just tuning in, Saratoga Racers scored the first 19 unanswered points of the game before Herkimer got the chance to respond. Evans, back to Gilbert. And that's going to be Luke Perez and John Riles on him. Evans, once again, that three was looking tasty, but John Riles, Shaheem Sanders running in, stop that from happening. Luke Perez trying to get past Javon Evans. Little bitty spin move there. The ball gets punched out. Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes falls, and that does not look good. Once again, we got a little bit of, you know what? Coaching staff having a little bit of words with each other. Tobias Holmes still not getting up. And Herkimer coaching staff having some gripes with the officials' decision. Yes. Tobias Holmes just now getting in. Saying that because the OGs had possession, that play should have resumed until either Herkimer scored or until Saratoga had gotten possession back one way or the other. But Tobias Holmes, we're gonna wait a split second before we get back into things. We got wiping up something from the impact zone of Tobias Holmes. We're just gonna hope he's okay. Just got to sit down on Saratoga's bench. Casey Hall helping flexing his muscles as he wipes up some residue from the Spa Catholic court. Yeah. There's Marquise Gilbert dishing it off to Ernst. Lizette Sr. going for a three, and that's no good. Josh Ernst tickling in and out of the rim, but that's going to go on. Luke Perez making a fast break up the middle, and that is not going to float. Gilbert doing some quick flashes as Javon Evans finally goes for three. That's no good. Herkimer gets a favorable rebound, and that's going to be good for two. So Coach Bob Catherwood taking a timeout. 64-47, $1.50 to go in the half. And looks like this is going to be a full timeout, so we'll have a quick opportunity to thank a couple of our sponsors who make this broadcast possible, including NYVT Media. It's the reason you hear me. And of course, our producer, the man behind the scenes, Eric Picard, making all of this possible, NYVT Media. PA Medical Supply. Pinnacle Roofing. Hey, we got you covered. The Shot Spot Shooting Facility. If you're bad from beyond the arc, Shot Spot can help you out. Shot Spot Shooting Facility. So we're going to get back into the swing of things. Minute 50 to go. 17-point game thus far. Saratoga Rich 64. Herkimer, oh geez, 47. John Riles, the inbound to Luke Perez. Back to Riles. To Donovan Williams. Back to Perez. From one side of the court to the other. And that's going to be an over and back violation on Saratoga. An over and back violation. John Riles was not quite over the line. Marquise Gilbert being double covered by Williams and Perez. He passed it off to Evans, back to Gilbert. Well, Javon Evans went for the three, and that was no good. As Josh Ernst looks like he's gonna get fouled. He's gonna get some shots from the line. Casey Hall pleading his case. Josh Ernst to get two from the line. Floats the first one up, and that's going to punch off of the front of the iron. It's no good. RJ Rosa getting ready to check back in. Then the second one's up. Second one's good. So apparently we're missing something here. Maybe I was fed some bad intel as Josh Ernst actually getting three from the line. Missed one, made one. Let's see how the third one goes. That one's up. That's good. 2 for 3 from the line in that appearance. 15-point game. A minute 25 to go. RJ Rosa dishing off to Luke Perez, who's being double covered. Whips it back to RJ Rosa. But Herkimer gets a piece on it. It's going to be Saratoga ball. Luke Perez giving it to RJ Rosa. Rosa shots up, and Rosa's shot is good from beyond the arc. RJ Rosa. Good for three. 18-point game with just over a minute to go. 0-on-0 action. And Josh Ernst just trying to play keep away from Luke Perez. Is going to get called on the travel. RJ Rosa from beyond the arc again, and that one's going to be no good. That's rebounded by Javon Evans. Luke Perez trying to keep up with Evans. Evans going to drive up, float that one in, and that's good. Team Sanders quickly inbounding it to Luke Perez. Luke Perez going to go for a quick jumper, and that's good for two. Luke Perez getting some points. John Riles picking it off right away. Sneaky fast, that John Riles. Going to breathe for a second. 30 seconds to go. Shooting clock is running a little low. Shooting clock is under 10. He's going to drive. He's going to recover his own rebound. But that shot's going to miss. Got 15 seconds to go. Shooting clock's turned off as Leggett Sr. driving one up. That's no good. James Sanders rebounding that. Dishing off to Luke Perez with less than 10 to go. Sanders. Looks like a foul's going to be called on Sanders. Looks like he is going to take a second. He's going to get 2 from the line. James Sanders' first shot is up. It's no good. Looks like it kind of hit the gap a little to the right of center. That gap between rim and board. So the first one's up, first one's no good. That's James Sanders, second shot up. That one's good. Got 5.5 seconds to go. As Marquise Gilbert going to throw it into Ernst. Ernst dishing it off to Adamson. And Adamson's shot is no good. To end the half, Saratoga Racers 70, the Herkimer OGs 51. The same 19 points that Saratoga had unanswered, now representing the lead they currently have going into the half. Racers 70, Herkimer OGs 51. We will come back to you after this halftime show as we have some local kids from, I don't remember what school district they are, but they are going to be playing a little of a pickup game. Oh, I think that's the Saratoga Blue Streak. Neighboring school districts. With that in mind, guys, we'll be back with you in about 20 minutes. Thanks for tuning in so far, and we'll talk soon. And we back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. That's a Chance the Rapper quote. But we're back. 70-51 Racers, Herkimer Originals. Starting off the third quarter in just a couple of seconds. As both the OGs and the Racers taking a few last second pot shots before we start off the second half. Saratoga Racers started the game with 19 unanswered points, and they ended the half with a 19-point lead. See what the next 24 minutes of ABA basketball have in store. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Brett Porter with NYBC Media, coming to you live from Spa Catholic High School. Your Saratoga Racers, the visiting Herkimer Originals. OGs have split wins so far against each other this season. You can consider this a grudge match of sorts. Let's get ready to start things off, or at least we think we're supposed to be starting things off. The officials could still be downstairs enjoying some delicious DeAndrea's Pizza, the official pizza sponsor of Saratoga Racers. And as I say that, they make their way back up, setting down their bottled waters and their next to their slacks and all that good stuff. Basketball about to commence underway. Racers going to start the half with Kyle Carey, John Riles, RJ Rosa, Isaiah Grandison, and Tobias Holmes. The OGs to start with Trent Adamson, Luke Van Slyke, Kavoy Leggett Sr., Marquise Gilbert, and Javon Evans. So it looks like it's supposed to be. And quick start. RJ Rosa looked like he was going to catch everyone who weren't paying attention. It's Isaiah Grandison gets that ball punched right out by Luke Van Slyke. But Saratoga Racers still end up scoring the first two points and a half. Marquise Gilbert whipping it out to Javon Evans. Evans finding an open Van Slyke, and that's going to get blocked by Isaiah Grandison. Grandison slapping it over to John Riles. Riles being blocked by Marquise Gilbert. Going to lateral it to Tobias Holmes. Holmes. Who does he find? Unreliable John Riles. That's going to catches it right in the air and floats it in. 4-0 run for the Racers so far. Marquise Gilbert. Looks like Marquise Gilbert going to be called out of bounds. We called out of bounds there. But either way, Saratoga ball, Tobias Holmes. Finding RJ Rosa, and RJ Rosa going to do what he does best, and that goes in and out, it looks like. John Riles gets the rebound, but not the second time. Trent Adamson coming down with that one. Going to find Leggett Sr., and Leggett Sr. is going to dump that Mamma Jamma in. Quick pass to RJ Rosa from Isaiah Grandison, and he's going to run up. And Kyle Carey just can't finish on that one. Tobias Holmes almost becoming one with the officiating table, quite literally. But that was Herkimer ball. And Trent Adamson is going to finish that. That's good for 2. 74-55 with 10:17 to go in the third. Tobias Holmes, this is to Rosa to Grandison. And Grandison going to skyhook that. That's good. It's good for another 2. It's a 21-point game now. It's time to go. Leggett Sr. dishing off to Gilbert. Marquise Gilbert going to float that one in off the glass. That's good. Tobias Holmes. Scanning the court. Calling a play. Got Grandison and Carey. That's two people who could definitely make good walls. But John Riles gets in from under the rim. putting in that footwork in the paint. Gilbert to Adamson. Adamson back to Gilbert. Gilbert was unprotected for just long enough. He was going to go for three. But LaPointe Jets Sr. almost forgotten about for a second. That's good for three. Siobhan Evans gets the steal and hits John Riles down hard. And John Riles is going to be called on a foul. John Riles getting his first foul of the game, and that's going to be Javon Evans getting 2 shots from the line. 3 shots. Well, excuse me. Yeah. And Javon Evans, not thrilled with missing that first one. Immediately smacks the ball down after it misses. See how the second one fares. Second one's up, second one's good. And number 3 is up. Number 3 is good. Grandison inbounding it to Tobias Holmes. Giving it to Rosa. Rosa to Riles. Back to Grandison. And that Herkimer ball after it skates out of bounds there. Marquise Gilbert driving up the line. But Trent Adamson, the last one with it, and he's gonna set that one in. And Saratoga Racers gonna take the first timeout of the half. Whether that's a full or 30-second, we don't know. 30-second. Saratoga Racers taking a 30-second timeout, so we will not be cutting to commercials. So to those of you just tuning in, this is an NYVT Media ABA Sports broadcast. I'm Brett Porter on the horn. You are listening to us live from Spa Catholic High School, the home of Saratoga Racers basketball, taking on the visiting Herkimer Originals. Racers and the OGs splitting wins so far in this season, with Saratoga cracking the top 25 in the power ranking. This and every win moving forward is a crucial win. And with 9 minutes to go in the third, Racers are sitting on a 14-point lead. So that timeout concludes. Saratoga ball, John Riles to inbound it to Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes calling a play. Just to Riles. Riles to Grandison. To Holmes. Holmes getting double covered. Trent Adamson's going to end up with the ball. Giving it off to Marquise Gilbert. Over to Evans. And Evans going for a 3, and that 3 is no good. It's out of bounds, and they're going to rule that Herkimer ball. Gilbert looked like he was about to go for a 3. Leggett also with the fake, and he's going to float that one up, but that's no good. As RJ Rosa with the pass from Grandison, now triple covered, throws it right into the midst of Luke Van Slyke, and that's Herkimer ball as Gilbert goes up, and that 3-pointer is no good. So that ball goes out of bounds, and that they're going to call that Saratoga ball. Casey Hall coming in. Kyle Perry taking a quick break. Herkimer coach staff getting very heated over here as Casey Hall dishing off to Tobias Holmes. And that's good for... Look at that. It's Tobias Holmes. Another dagger from beyond the arc. 17-point game, 81-64 with 7:35 to go. So Gilbert dishing off to Evans. Evans being double covered. Giving it back to Gilbert. Gilbert finding open Evans. Evans giving it off to Adamson. Adamson from mid-range. And that's no good. That ball goes out of bounds. Tobias Holmes inbounding it. Quick pass to Casey Hall. That's good for 2. Number 23, Casey Hall. What he doesn't have in hair, he makes up for in heart. As Javon Evans looked like he was going to go Looks like he's really hitting a lot of those fakes there. Elias Holmes straight picking it off the cross-court pass from Marquise Gilbert. Grandison looked like he was going to go for a three, but leave it to RJ Rosa to get another 3M. And Herkimer is going to be taking a timeout. Try to figure out if that's going to be a full or a 30-second. So it is going to be a full media timeout, nonetheless. Even though so Herkimer Originals called a 30-second timeout, but it's also going to be a media timeout. Gives us a chance to thank our sponsors, the local businesses that help keep this Saratoga Racers broadcast possible. So thank you to sponsors such as Hotel Trilogy, Hotel 1, Hotel 2, Electric Boogaloo, Hotel 3, Hotel Trilogy, Adirondack Orthodontics. 67% of Americans say that a first impression can be made or broken by somebody's smile. And if you think your teeth could use a little bit of help, let Adirondack Orthodontics sharpen up and whiten your first impression. BBL Hospitality, still working on something creative for that. Your Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership of Clifton Park. And that's about all the time we got to squeeze in some ad promotion there. It's 86-64 Racers up 22 Herkimer ball. Gilbert. Dishing it off to Javon Evans. Back to Gilbert. And he's going to find Gil almost went up to his fingers as Gilbert can dish it off. And that's good for three. Marquise Gilbert getting a three in the zone after RJ Rosa answered relatively quick. Elias Holmes with the horn. And that's good for three. Look at that, Elias Holmes. That's 2 3-pointers in less than a minute of gameplay. Von Evans motioning for Chris Gilks, finding Leggett Sr. in the paint. And it looks like Isaiah Grandison's going to be called on a foul there. It's going to be Herkimer ball. Not a shooting foul, so no shots from the line. Trent Adamson dishing it off to Leggett Sr. Leggett Sr. shots up and no good. Grandison on the rebound. Giving it to Tobias Holmes. Leggett Sr. playing very tight man coverage with Tobias Holmes. It's Casey Hall with the ball. Grandison floating one up, and that's no good. It's Chris Gilks pull that one down, and Tobias Holmes picking that one off. Getting it off to Grandison. RJ Rosa it looks like it. That's another three from RJ Rosa. 92-67. 5 minutes to go in the third. Chris Gilks, 3-pointers up, 3-pointer. Skates off the front of the rim and back of the glass. Saratoga ball. John Riles charging through. Oh, and for a split second, it looked like Casey Hall was going to be able to pop that one in on the rebound. It's Marquise Gilbert now driving up in a sea of racers. Tobias Holmes pleading his case that that was a travel from 99 Marquise Gilbert, but instead looks like we're going to be seeing. Looks like it's going to be maintain still Herkimer ball. There appears to be some Bob Catherwood. Once again, it seems like the officials are on two different wavelengths there. Bob Catherwood claiming that the travels are called. Very vocal Bob Catherwood. Can't really say I blame him. It's number 99 Marquise Gilbert's first shot from the line is up and no good. Gilbert's second shot up and good. 92-68 with 4:42 to go in the third. Tobias Holmes trying to make separation from Leggett Sr. As that three-pointer is up and no good off the back of the iron. And Javon Evans. Oh, was out of bounds. It looks like, yeah. Last touch by Herkimer going to be Saratoga ball. John Riles taking a quick breather. Still got some time on the shot clock to play with. Went for the handoff, but kind of got tipped back in his own face. Less than 10 on the shooting clock. He's going to dish that off to Casey Hall. Hall to RJ Rosa. You know he can shoot for threes. That one's no good. Tobias Holmes getting the rebound for Saratoga. And Tobias Holmes floats that one up, and that's no good. But Shaheem Sanders doing what he does best, getting a quick hand on off the rebound and it's floating it in. It's a 26-point game, 3:40 to go in the third. It's like Luke Perez getting to the substitution table as Adamson's shot up and no good. RJ Rosa is looking, waving his hands like, hey, I'm open, buddy. But John Riles in transition, maybe he didn't notice. Casey Hall taunting us, looking like he was going to go over three. He doesn't. But here we go. I speak too soon. Casey Hall's three's up and no good. He would have loved to have seen it. But RJ Rosa is there. Quick on the rebound, throwing that back in. Evans giving it off to Gilbert. Back to Evans. Evans being double teamed. Bounce passing it off to Gilbert is Chris Gilks. And that's good from beyond the arc. Chris Gilks with the three. And Tobias Holmes, once again, just getting covered very thoroughly by Lavoie Leggett Sr. James Sanders now trying to get past Adamson, and that's so good. But John Riles gets a hand on it off of the glass. 27-point game, 2:24 to go in the third. Gilbert giving off to Leggett. Leggett Sr.'s shot is up and no good. James Sanders on the rebound. And if RJ Rosa's arms were about 3 feet longer, he probably couldn't have gotten a hand on that. But Gilks catches him lacking, catches everybody when they're looking the other way, but that three-pointer is up and no good. Casey on the rebound, handed it immediately off to John Riles. Casey Hall trying to build a screen. John Riles, with all the time in the world, but that shot was up and no good. And a little bit of fumbling, bumbling, stumbling, but Herkimer turns up with it as Javon Evans is going to dish it off to Marquise Gilbert, and he's going to get it. That's going to be good from underneath the rim. And Leggett Sr. getting very handsy on Tobias Holmes. That ball goes out of bounds, and that looks like that's going to be Herkimer ball. It's Gilks. Dishing it off to Evans. Evans to Gilbert. And that mid-range jumper is up and good. That's going to be Saratoga ball. So once again, Lavoie Leggett Sr. getting really up the grill to Tobias Holmes. It's been a heck of a matchup to him so far this game. RJ Rosa now competing with Gilbert. But would you look at that? The bounce pass to Shaheem Sanders. And with that dunk, Saratoga Racers officially hit triple-digit territory. They're up 25 points with 45 seconds to go. That's Trent Adamson floating one in for two. Holmes scanning the court. James Sanders setting up the screen. And he's just going to shoot that, and that's good for three. Tobias Holmes letting some of that ice flow through his veins. 103-77, 22 seconds to go. Shot clock officially doesn't matter as Tobias Holmes flips one up off the glass. James Sanders looks that one in. 12 seconds to go as Evans giving it off to Gilbert. Gilbert from behind the line. That's no good. Casey Hall on the rebound. RJ Rosalick got it off to John Riles with 2 seconds to go. It's no good. And at the end of 3 quarters of basketball, Saratoga Racers have a 28-point lead over the Herkimer OGs. 105-77. 3 quarters of basketball. Saratoga Racers in triple-digit territory. They can maintain this lead for the next 12 minutes. That's all she wrote, folks, but I don't have to explain basketball to you guys. We all know how basketball works. Heck, you're watching a basketball game. So those of you just tuning in, this is Brett Porter, and behind the camera and the man in charge of all the production, Eric Picard. We are your production team for your Saratoga Racers, coming to you live from Spa Catholic High School. Saratoga Racers have cracked the top 25 across the entire ABA. And from this point out, every win is crucial to maintain their position and hopefully get some more favorable standings come playoff time. Giving Keith Harrington a second to introduce some of the premier fans of the game. Sounded like he said John Safford, not to be confused with John Taffer, the non-fun bar rescue. But for that, it's that three is not going to count. Will it count? Actually, and so Herkimer coaching staff is very, very heated over that. So the question is, are they going to count that three? Looks like they are, but either way, that's going to be Saratoga ball. Luke Perez looked like he was going to flash it off to Donovan Williams, but they're going to give it to Wallace. Carl Wallace shot's no good. Herkimer ball. 25-point game. Not an insurmountable lead in ABA. Williams got a piece of it, but John Ernst still came down with it. Trent Adams giving off to Gilks. Gilks to Gilbert, being double covered by Williams and Wallace. And just like that, Javon Evans sinks one. That's good for three. Luke Perez with help from a couple screens. Looked like he was going to drive the paint, but didn't quite get there in time. And Shun Sanders dishing it off to Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes, big number three. Flutters into the paint, floats that one in. 107-83, 10:55 to go in the game. Joe Ernst gets the pass, and that's going to go right through his hands, Mr. Butterfingers, if you will. And now Adamson, it's good for a deep two. Luke Perez trying to find a lane. And he's going to float that one in, and it was looking good. Almost gets his own rebound. And they're going to rule that. They're going to rule that Saratoga ball. And that looks like it's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by Ernst. Donovan Williams. And that's good for deep two, Donovan Williams. And Ernst, after once again some quick clarification from Ernst takes a little bit of a fall. And Marquise Gilbert, after some quick confusion, that's good for another 3-pointer. 21-point game, 10:05 to go. As a shot clock whistle went off for no reason, but Javon Evans coming down with it after some quick transition play. Evans shots up, and that's good for three. Javon Evans closing this gap slowly but surely. 109-91, 9:40 to go. Tobias Holmes calling a play. And he's going to march up. He can do it by himself, so flap. No good. And looks like we're going to get a foul on the play. You call it out. And Josh Ernst's going to be excited for that one. Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes taking two from the line. And Jet Senior looks like has some inquiries for touches. As Tobias Holmes first free throw up and good. Rosa and Madison checking in. Second free throw from Tobias Holmes is good. It's Marquise Gilbert. Switching it off to Gilks. Gilks back to Gilbert, Ernst, Gilks. And that three is up and good. OGs and company are chipping away at this lead. RJ Rosa with possession. James Sanders looked like a half-hearted screen. It's Marquise Gilbert now driving up the lane. And that floater is no good, but Trent Adamson popping that one in quick. So, for some reason or another, while we're trying to figure out who called the timeout, take a quick second to thank our sponsors who keep your Saratoga Racers up and in business, including DeAndrea's Pizza. When I say that I housed a slice of DeAndrea's Pizza in record time between the first and second half, I mean it. DeAndrea's Pizza, the official pizza sponsor of Saratoga Racing. Franklin Hospitality Group. G&S Printing for all your custom printing needs. Greenwich Ford, the premier sponsor of the Saratoga Racers. KF Squared Construction. And last but not least, Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club, the official practice location of your Saratoga Racers. 9 minutes to go. Racers with a 15-point lead as RJ Rosa inbounding it to Luke Perez. Perez dishing off to Grandison. Finds Rosa in the middle. Rosa's going to float that up. And that's going to go far and wide over. Javon Evans getting that rebound. And Marquise Gilbert. That's good for another three. The Herkimer OGs are just rippling in points. Don't want to call it a comeback yet. The Luke President shot is no good. The three looks so good too, but no luck. James Sanders coming down with it. Grandison coming down with it. And that was bobbling, but it finally made an end. Now Ernst sickling the edge of the paint. Trent Adamson's shot is up. This will be no good. But as gameplay continues, Bob Catherwood trying to get John Riles back in. But Marquise Gilbert getting another 3 points. This is now just an 11-point game. 7:47 to go. Isaiah Grandison giving it off to Tobias Holmes. Who's going to take it to the house and floats that one in. 115-102, 7:30 to go. Chris Gilts giving it to Adamson in the middle. Adamson's going to fade away with that one. That one's good. Tobias Holmes to Rosa, back to Holmes. Tobias Holmes with a deep three, and that's up and no good. And quick cross court pass to Ernst. That's no good. As Saratoga comes down with it. And we got a foul called a little late there. And looks like the head of head official is gonna pull aside both coaches to talk to him. Kind of sounds like a disappointed dad with his two children. As we go into our immediate timeout and forget about the fact that Coach Catherwood and the Herkimer coach staff, whose name I don't remember, are going to have some words with the officials. Take time to thank NYPT Media, which is basically patting myself and patting Eric on the back, as we are not just one of the sponsors of Saratoga basketball, we are also the broadcast team by NYPT Media. PA Medical Supply. Clinical Roofing, hey, we've got you covered. And last but not least, the Shot Spot Shooting Facility. Work on your baseline jumper at the Shot Spot Shooting Facility. 7 minutes of basketball left. What was once a 27-point lead, now an 11-point lead. The Saratoga Racers. And after just getting some clarification, it's gonna be seems to be just a lot of misdirection. RJ Rosa just like confused what's going on. John Riles being the one to say like, "Hey, I pay attention here." As Trent Adamson breaking off of that, and RJ Rosa from behind. So the Racers slowing it down for a second. Tobias Holmes three is up and no good. That's gonna be Javon Evans. Javon Evans at the key, giving it to Adamson. Adamson's gonna fade that one away, and that's so good. And with the rebound, Isaiah Grandison. Grandison driving into the paint, and he's gonna bounce that one off the glass, and that's in. So Gilbert driving. Have double covered by Grandison and Rosa. That goes out of bounds. That's going to be Saratoga ball. Grandison distributed into Tobias Holmes. Tobias Holmes going to float that one in. That's good. That was good for another Saratoga too. As Marquise Gilbert being covered by Tobias Holmes. Oh, black one. They're going to be calling a hole on number 15, Trent Alexander. As the screen looked like he was trying to screen Tobias Holmes, but one of the most important parts is, screenplaying was keeping your feet planted, if I remember correctly. Tobias Holmes taking his time. It's going to give that to John Riles. Riles going to be up, and that floater is no good. And that's rebounded by Giltz. Giltz driving up the paint, and RJ Rosa getting a hand on that. Rosa now leading the charge. John Riles under the rim, and that's good for two. A 17-point game. 6 to go. And it looks like Herkimer is going to be taking a full timeout. Which means we have an opportunity to thank some of our sponsors. Stewart Shops having multiple award-winning ice creams, including their Philly Vanilla and Peanut Butter Pandemonium. Excellent milk. Stewart Shops. Sorry, we're trying to navigate this as someone forgot there was a camera here. Hotel Trilogy. If you loved Hotel 1, Hotel 2, Electric Boogaloo, wait till you discover Hotel Trilogy, Return of the King. Adirondack Orthodontics. The best way to win a first impression is with an award-winning smile. And what better way to do that than make sure Adirondack Orthodontics has you hooked up? BBL Hospitality. Still can't think of anything fun with that. So BBL Hospitality. And of course, your local Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership of Clifton Park. 5 minutes to go. 17-point game. Racers 121, Herkimer Originals 104. Casey Hall cheering on the starting five. And Siobhan Evans. Ron Evans with the ball. Hopefully he's going to go for the three. Rosa just got waving a hand in the face. And Isaiah Grandison getting right up in Herkimer's grill. And we're going to see some shots from the line. Which side? Coach Catherine, Carl plays like his life depends on it. Marquise Gilbert's first shot up and good. And Gilbert's second shot up and no good. Shane Sanders coming down with a rebound. RJ Rosa. Shane Sanders saving that. But no good. Shane Sanders demonstrating some excellent athleticism to stop the ball from going out of bounds, but Herkimer was trying to pick that up. And now they're in scoring position. Adamson's shot from just outside the paint was up and no good. Shane Sanders coming down with the rebound again. And Riles now fumbling around with possession. It looks like they're going to call that a shot clock. It looks like they're going to call that a shot clock violation. Even Coach Tim Pep getting in on getting a little angry there. Josh Ernst, shots up and no good. Herkimer coming down with it again. Excuse me, that was Luke Van Slyke, not John. Even whole team's getting heated now. We got 4 minutes of game left. I'm going to take this opportunity. Now we have a media timeout, maybe media timeout. We'll get seconds to thank a few more of our sponsors, including DeAndrea's Pizza. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Voted #1 pizza to shovel down your gullet between halves. Very good pizza. DeAndrea's Pizza, the official sponsor of Saratoga Racers. GNS Printing for all your custom printing needs. Greenwich Ford, the premier sponsor of Saratoga Racers basketball. Without them, this would not be possible. KS Squared Construction. And last for now, Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club, the official practice location of the Saratoga Racers, the Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club. 16-point game, 3:52 to go. Both coaches talking through a game plan, see what they can muster up in these last minutes of gameplay. Not quite a must-win for Saratoga, but Saratoga is in the top 25 nationwide across the entirety of the ABA, and every win moving forward is crucial. So, going to get some shots from the free throw line. Chris Gilks getting 3 shots from the line. First one is up and good. And Coach Catherwood yelling to John Riles. Riles yelling back, trying to get the point across. Hey, I understand what's going on here. As Chris Gilks goes 3 for 3 in those attempts, the 13-point game would treat fitted to go. Grandison ripping one off to RJ Rosa. And RJ Rosa's good from the key. RJ Rosa brings some heat back to the Saratoga Racers. Even Bob Catherwood showing signs of the cross after that one. As Luke Van Slyke getting 2 points of his own in response. 14-point game, 3:25 to go. RJ Rosa going to driving up the middle. And he's going to dish that one to Shane Sanders, but Sanders just slipped out. He's going to dip that off to Van Slyke. And Luke Van Slyke that 3 is no good. John Riles coming down with it. And they're going to call foul on Van Slyke. Saratoga ball. So finds home position off to Rosa. Rosa back to Holmes. Holmes to Riles. Riles with all the time in the world. That 3 just no good. Does not connect off the back of the iron. Herkimer ball is Javon Evans now driving up. And that one is going to. First one's good. First one's no good. Second one's no good. RJ Rosa dishing it off to John Riles. Riles and Sanders were going for some razzle-dazzle, and it just did not quite connect. He's Luke Van Slyke. Luke Van Slyke gets 2 points in response. Catherwood and Saratoga are going to call a timeout. Oh, we'll take a quick second just to fill you guys in to anyone who has not been here with us for long. Brett Porter and Eric Picard from NYVT Media putting on another edition of live ABA basketball live from Spa Catholic High School. Your Saratoga Racers taking on the visiting Herkimer Originals. Racers and Originals have already met twice this season, splitting wins. Both times the away team being the victor. But at this rate, it looks like that spell will be broken. Herkimer Originals, after a very widely debated statistic, just information gathering, turns out Herkimer Originals, part of the name, the reason they're called the Originals, because the sport of basketball originates from Herkimer, New York. So no one can say that they didn't leave this broadcast smarter if they tuned in just now. As RJ Rosa Rosa setting it off to Grandison. Grandison trying to kick Adamson. Now in a state of double coverage. Quick handoff to Rosa. Rosa giving up to Grandison. Grandison floats that one in. Now Gilt's giving it off to Gilbert. Gilbert giving it to Van Slyke. Van Slyke is under the rim, and looks like we're gonna get called on a push there. John Riles. John Riles will be called on that. Less than 2 to go. Van Slyke going for one from beyond the arc. Luke Van Slyke, excuse me, that's good for 3. 11-point game, 1:48 to go. RJ Rosa trying to shake some coverage, and he falls. And after that stoppage, RJ Rosa, you throw it in to inbound it. Inbounded by Grandison. And they're going to call 99 is 99 Marquise Gilbert for a hold. Casey Hall coming back in for these last minute 38, 11-point game. Here's Tobias Holmes. That's Holmes trying to shake Gilbert. Casey Hall setting a pick. And that's a shove. That's going to be another non-shooting foul. But still, Saratoga ball. Herkimer getting to the point where not much longer before we're going to get into bonus territory. Tobias Holmes again paired up against Gilbert. Dishes it off to Casey Hall. Hall with a fake. Give it off to John Riles. John Riles, that 3 is up, and that 3 is no good. RJ Rosa recovers it, and he giving it back to John Riles, and he's going to flip it off the glass. That's good for 2. 13-point lead, 56 seconds to go. Chris Gilks driving up into the paint, and that's going to be no good. Refs are calling that clean. Chris Gilks still on the ground. Still on the ground. Chris Gilks is still on the ground, punching the foam padding on the sides of the walls. 41.8 seconds to go. 13-point game. Don't want to say it's the last nail in the coffin just yet. But the Saratoga Racers look like they're about ready to bring this one home. Herkimer's coaching staff getting heated up. Tom Williams giving that to Carl Walsh. Carl Walsh shot's no good. Riles for 15-point game, 30 seconds to go. It's Chris Gilks trying to get past Riles and Williams as Javon Evans. The 3-pointer is up and no good. Shot clock officially turned off. It don't matter. We got 20 seconds left. Gilks intercepts that one. Well, officially at garbage time. Doesn't really matter how the rest of this goes. It's Luke Van Slyke's 3-pointer is up and no good. 10 seconds to go here. And it looks like the Saratoga Racers are going to be going home victors. Just a matter of 9.6 seconds as Javon Evans floats one up and it's no good. Van Slyke shot up and no good. 2 seconds to go. Carl Wallace, just for the fun of it. Donovan Williams. And just like that, your Saratoga Racers started off strong. A 19-0 run to start the game. 19 unanswered points. Kept Herkimer in a drought the first 4 minutes of the match. and been very back and forth since. Herkimer never had the lead at any point. But here we are now at the end of 4 quarters of basketball. Racers officially with the dub, 130 to 115. Carl Wallace back. Carl Wallace is back. JC Hall's back. And I guess you could just say, tonight the Saratoga Racers looked at themselves as a roster and pulled up Blues Brothers and said, hey, we're getting the band back together. And that they did. Racers win a good one at home. From the NYVT Media Broadcasting Studio, Brett Porter, Eric Picar, the man with the plan behind the camera. Thank you for tuning in. If you drove here, get home safe. If you didn't, well, we'll talk to you next time.